He would say, okay, in 2 weeks is the Mr. Olympia contest, and I will send all you guys to the Mr. Olympia contest. Then we will be looking at our airline ticket, and all of a sudden we realized it was a one-way ticket. So everyone went to Joe Weider and said, why are you giving us a one-way airline ticket to go to New York to compete at Madison Square Garden at the Mr. Olympia? How do we get back home? He says, first you have to take the photographs. And what he would do is he would have us come the next day after the Mr. Olympia competition to the studio and pose for a whole day, and sometimes the next day too. At that time, you know, you were mad at him that he did that because he said, you know, what an idiot. Why would he do that? Why not trust us? But the fact of the matter was he was burned so many times by those bodybuilders because every time the guy that won showed up at the photo session and the guys that lost were all pissed off and they ran off. He was the other bodybuilders, they always screw me. I put them on the covers of the muscle magazines. I put them on the covers of all the brochures, build them up all over the world, make them famous and big stars, and then those bastards. You're the only one I can trust because you're from Austria. You're Germanic. You have a strong mind, he says. You will be hero. And, you know, he would go off the deep end with all those kind of things, which was always very funny, you know. So we developed this kind of a really father-son relationship.
We always had a lot of fun. The problem with him, he was different than me in some ways. He had a joyful life. He loved to enjoy life. He wouldn't do anything unless there was pleasure involved in it. I was a workhorse, and I just plowed along on my work. I didn't have the pleasure from what I was doing as much as he did.
Together, though, they had the pleasure of watching the fruits of their combined labor. By the late 70s, bodybuilding took off, and with its growth, lost its stigma as an exercise practiced only by a bunch of muscleheads.
Here's another tough guy.
Tough guy.
Not only that, he's one of the greatest crowd pleasers, too.
His arms are very small.
Yeah, we all have small arms here. We're in the small arm club here. The Joe Weider small arm fan club.
Yeah, but remember, they're not in shape yet for the contest. Right. They still got about 2 months to go. Yep.
Many of today's professional bodybuilders are now on exclusive contract to the Weider Corporation, a corporation that Joe has taken in a direction far removed from this world of sweat-soaked bodies.
I've always wanted to meet this guy.
At the World Championship of Professional Bodybuilding, a competition he created more than 30 years ago, Joe Weider is treated as a superstar, recognized for what he is, a founding father of bodybuilding.
It's no question of why he created this industry. He created it, I think, really for himself. It was something that he had inside of him, and Joe was the different one. And if he didn't create this world, he would have had no world in which to live.
But for the last couple of decades, one overriding issue has plagued the world of professional bodybuilding: the use and abuse of drugs. It is said that to compete at the top professional level, bodybuilders have to use steroids. It is an accusation that Joe does not dispute.
To be fair, there's a lot of drugs in all sports. In fact, in the Tour, the France, the bicyclists, most of the French team were on drugs. They all were on drugs. Football players on drugs. They all take drugs for the simple reason that they're a competitor. And what does a competitor want? He wants to win. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a competitor. And he pushes himself to the limit. 98% of the bodybuilders never take a steroid. The competitive ones, those that make a living with it, will take it. And we're fighting this battle, just like any other sport, to eliminate it. For a twist.
Okay, turn your head a lot now. That's great. Good.
You need a leader like Arnold, you know, with Cruz and so forth, and you have it. That's why you'd be so good for the sport.
Okay. Trying to do my homework.
What?
That's what I'm trying to accomplish.
No, it's not like that, but you got nice personality. You talk properly to people. You're polite to people. You're not arrogant. That's why you'd be a good spokesman.
Joe is constantly on the lookout for that next superstar to promote the sport. Because what's good for bodybuilding is also good for Joe's business.
When you're nice, everybody likes you.
Some guys don't pay attention to that part, you know,
That's
which makes it worse.
Most important part.
Right.
This was a graphic presentation, walking, bending, so that people are aware that that's when they feel their joint pain.
See, when I have move free, with pain free, we can have some people there.
Back in the 1940s, Joe was advocating not the use of drugs, but the use of vitamins and supplements. He was ridiculed for it. Today, his Salt Lake City nutrition plant churns out almost 2,000 different vitamin and food supplement products. It's estimated that 25% of the multi-billion-dollar food supplement business is controlled by Weider Nutrition.
Is he available now? Okay.
In charge of the day-to-day operation of the company is yet another Weider, Eric. He's Ben's son. Joe is his uncle and mentor.
You just feel a different presence than you do with most people. It's hard to put a finger on it, but there's a sort of a power, there's an essence that comes through that you don't run across very often.
See this? That's the beginning of the campaign. This one or this? This is the design of the box.
Isn't it possible that I get this in a...
I'll send them all.
Yes, yeah. Because we have to come to a point where we do this at the same time.
We may make a mass, and we're going to have the product.
I think it's too much. I would focus on the three major groups of sports which are today running, biking, and maybe swimming, or another one.
Well,
and I wouldn't take the other.
Here. No, forget this picture.
Yeah.
This is the theme. We'll use main pictures here that's popular.
Today, publicly traded Weider Nutrition is moving onto the international market. So is the privately held Weider Publications. Together they form a $500 million business.
I think that's a great slogan.
I know.
Winning is good.
Yeah. Very good.
If the Weiders had a slogan, it might very well be, work never ends.
When are they starting the promotion? Did you speak to them about?
Yeah, I did. They're working with...
Even Joe's morning exercise has turned into a business meeting with the visiting chairman of Weider International.
I'm going to be back. They're both workaholics, but even on the workaholic level, they're so different. And maybe this is why they get along so well. Ben is a morning person. He's in his office 5:30 in the morning. Joe is a night owl.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Dad.
Then we're going to the office.
I've never, ever heard either one of them raise their voice to the other. And I've never heard them have an argument about money. There's been arguments, and I wouldn't say arguments, but discussions about policy and so on. But an argument about money, never.
You know, we bought Natural Health magazine. That's the Bible of the vitamins, herb, and the homeopathy industry.
Yeah. There's about 15 magazines that compete. Some more primary.
The newest Weider to join the company is Ben's youngest son, Mark.
Spiritual, but you know, some of the readers do overlap.
So we're getting about 112 pages of national ads, which is a real good money maker. Plus the fact that we'll be able to advertise and promote our own new products in there.
Right.
The brothers' passion for work is matched only by their passion for art. Whether it's in their offices or in their homes, art is everywhere. Priceless works that they have personally selected surround their lives.
It's not something I buy for investment, for turnover. I buy it because I like it. I can have two choices. I can invest it in bonds or stocks and keep it in a bank account, or I can put it in art and enjoy living with art and beauty, and I can always sell it whenever I want and get my money back, maybe more than I would in stocks and bonds.
But Joe has never sold any of his art. In fact, Joe just keeps on adding to his collection, a collection that any museum would love to own.